Hey everyone, MythicODM here, and today I want to continue to chat about Starfinder. So, as you know, Paizo launched the playtest for the second edition of their successful science fiction high fantasy RPG. Now today I want to dive into the Mystic. Now for those coming from Pathfinder, this would be your Druid, your Cleric, and your Witch classes kind of all rolled into one. Now your Mystic has a bond with your crew and has a vitality network, and those will be the key to your success, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. Now, again, if you haven't watched my previous videos and want to get into the background of Starfinder, the playtest, and all those Ancestries, you may want to go give that one a quick watch first, because I'll be referencing the Ancestries during each class as well. So go take a look at that and then come on back. The playtest packet is free on the Starfinder playtest page, and I'll have a link to that in the description. While you're there, clicking on the description and title and such, maybe hit that like button, click subscribe for more content, and even hit that bell for notifications on new videos. So let's get into it, shall we? So the Mystic is your basic wisdom-based caster. It is kind of your occult, your primal, or your divine caster. So your cleric, your witch, or your druid kind of rolled into one class. Which is nice. I see the way they've done this, and honestly, you could pretty much do the same thing, but you lose a lot of flavor. But so hit points, you have 8 plus your con modifier. All right, so again, everything from levels 1 to 20 there in the chart for your Mystic advancement. Your initial proficiencies, you are trained in perception. Your saving throws, you're trained in fortitude and reflex. You're expert in will, kind of makes sense. Your skills, you're trained in one skill determined by your connection. Again, this will depend if you're going the occult route, the primal route, or the divine route. You're trained in a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier, so it's much less than the envoy. Your attacks, you're trained in simple weapons. You're trained in unarmed attacks. You're not trained in martial weapons, and you're definitely not trained in advanced. You need feats for those. Defense, you're trained in light and unarmored defense. Again, you're not trained in medium or heavy armors. Spells, you're trained in your attack and your spell DC. That's very standard as well. So your connection, it says all mystics have supernatural connection with the cosmic force that grants magical powers. The exact nature of your connection can vary widely. So you might worship a god or pantheon, going down the divine route. You may embody a metaphysical concept or commune with the souls of your ancestors, giving you more a an occult look. Or, you do something else and you have a primal connection, etc. So that's going to really give you your primary one. We'll get into that in a little bit. So mystics start with a epiphany, which is basically what is a focus spell. So focus spells give you a specific spell you get to learn and a focus pool. Every time you learn another focus spell, you gain another focus point to your focus pool, and you can have a maximum of 3 focus points. Now, once you learn 3 focus spells, and it takes a while, you're not getting these at first level. You're getting 1 at first level. You can then just choose which one you want to spend to boost in that certain situation. So what ends up happening is they just call these things different names, but they're all focuses. So for a mystic, it is an epiphany. You can refocus during your short rest, which is 10 minutes. And you gain your focus pool back. You gain all your focus points back. So if you blew all 3, you get all 3 back. One of the cool things I want to look at is the mystic bond. So you use your connection to form a bond between yourself and others, most typically your closest companions or those you'll be working with for a prolonged period of time. Forming the bond is different for every mystic, but always involves using a 10-minute activity related to the mystic's connection that requires you to be adjacent to the creature for whom you wish to form a bond. You can maintain a bond with up to 10 other willing creatures. The bond lasts until you or the bonded creature are no longer willing to be part of that bond. You are part of your own bond. You don't count towards that 10 creature limit. It's technically 11 people altogether. Now with the bond, you always know the general distance and direction toward the other bonded creatures, and if they are conscious, unconscious, dying, or dead. This ability doesn't work across planes, including when you're in transit in the drift, and some special magical or technological effects might interfere with your ability to detect your allies, so spells and stuff. Now, the biggest thing with the Mystic Bond is this comes into play with a lot of your different feats or your different spells, etc. So this is a big thing. You also have the Vitality Network, which basically gives you a pool of hit points, 6 plus 4 per Mystic level. So at first level, you would have 10. And you gain the transfer vitality action that you can use to take hit points out of the network and into yourself or your allies as healing. So it's a nice little extra bit of healing. And of course, everything always is important. Now, at the start of each turn in combat, when you regain actions, your vitality network regains 4 hit points. That's really important. Now, if you're legendary, it is 8 hit points, which doesn't come to play until much later in your career. But getting 4 every single turn is really nice. That means you can give extra healing. Now, the transfer of vitality is a 1 action, and you can transfer 1 or more hit points from your vitality network into yourself or another bonded creature you can see within 60 feet. So that's important. So again, that's where this mystic bond comes in. And of course, as we go into other, you'll see that this can also be augmented. All right, you can take a look at your mystic spells per day. It is a very standard chart. This is pretty much what every single prepared caster gets. I don't think there's really much of spontaneous casting on these classes that I've seen. So at 19th level is where you gain your legendary spellcaster, and that's where your vitality network would jump to 8. Again, most people don't get up into this unless you're playing a very long adventure path, or you're playing with certain people and you're planning on a campaign like this. Most campaigns usually get to about 10th, 11th level, and then you reset and start over again. Now, the connections. This is pretty much where you pick your spellcasting tradition. So there are 2 primal, 2 divine, and 1 occult choice currently. Now remember, this is playtest. They will likely have more, and as more splat books come out later down the line, you'll see more of these connections and etc., giving you more options. So your Akashic is your occult spellcaster. They obviously grant you the skill occultism. The cantrip, you get scan environment. Now, what the extra granted spells mean is basically extra spells you automatically learn as you go up in levels, as you get to those levels. So as you get to first rank spells, you get the Akashic download. At second rank, you get instant virus. These are not the only spells you know, obviously, but these are ones that you're automatically given as part of your choice. There's also a harmony. So a harmony ability, and whenever you transfer vitality, your target receives a psychic download from the record and can immediately attempt a recall knowledge action, which is kind of fun. It doesn't trigger any special abilities, reactions, or free actions that trigger when a creature uses recall knowledge. You get initial epiphany, which is your focus, your advanced one, which you learn your second focus spell, your greater epiphany, etc. when you get your third, and you have perfect harmony, which is your final ability. You create an exponential memory palace that functions as a planar palace, creating a door to the demi-plane. It takes 1 minute. All right, this is the first of your 2 primals. This is elemental. And again, you learn nature. You have specific granted spells and cantrips as you go up in level. You gain a specific harmony. So when you heal a bonded creature with your vitality network, choose an element trait: air, earth, fire, metal, water, or wood. So remember, in Pathfinder, because of rage elements, we have more than just, the basic 4. If 1 or more of those elemental epiphanies are active, you must select an elemental trait and choose as part of those spells until the end of your next turn. The target's next strike deal D4 persistent damage based on the chosen trait. So electricity or sonic for air, bludgeoning or piercing for earth, acid or slashing for metal, fire for fire, cold for water, or poison for wood. So that's a nice little thing. And this increases to D6 when you learn your advanced epiphany, and D8 when you learn your greater epiphany, so as you go up in levels. And again, you have your initial, advanced, and greater epiphanies, all your focus spells, your perfect harmony. Choose during your daily preparations. You gain resistance equal to half your mystic level to 2 damage types based on your 2 elements you select as listed in your harmony. When you heal a bonded ally with transfer vitality, your ally gains these resistances until the beginning of your next turn, and these effects last until your next preparation. So that's awesome. All right, healing. This is first of your divines. You gain the medicine connection skill. You're granted specific spells. Your harmonies, you can choose for your healing spells and abilities to restore hit points to creatures with void healing as though the action had the void trait. Whenever you hear a bonded creatures and restore them to their maximum hit points, your vitality network regains excess hit points the spell would have restored up to your character level. Temporary hit points do not trigger this. So again, your 3 epiphanies, and you have your perfect harmony. Whenever you transfer vitality to a single target, attempt to counteract 1 affliction affecting that ally, or attempt to counteract an effect of your choice imposing one of these conditions. So you can remove blinded, dazzled, deafened, drained, enfeebled, sickened, or stunned. All great abilities to be able to remove when you're just transferring your vitality for 1 action. So you're giving them a little bit of healing, and then you're also removing 1 condition. Well, sorry, you're attempting to remove it with a counteract. The rhythm connection is your second primal one. Your connection is performance. Again, has all the different granted spells. Your harmony, when you transfer vitality, you can extend the duration of any active epiphany from the rhythm connection by 1 round. If there are no active focus spells and you have a focus point remaining, you can instead cast a 1 action focus spell as part of this action. So that's really powerful as well, to be able to do a 1 action focus spell and do your transfer as a single action. Again, action economy is very important in this game, so that's awesome. Perfect harmony, when you transfer vitality, attempt to counteract any one of the affliction affecting your ally, or attempt to counteract an effect of your choice, imposing one of these conditions. So this is a different side of it. So you can get rid of clumsy, confused, controlled, doomed, fleeing, frightened, stunned, or stupefied. All those are awesome. If you didn't counteract the effect, but would have if the counteract were ranked 2 or lower, instead suppress the effect at the beginning of your next turn. The effect's duration doesn't elapse while suppressed. So that's interesting. I like that. Your final divine is your shadow. You learn stealth, get all your different cantrips. When you transfer, so your harmony is when you transfer vitality, your target shadow darkens and swells, reducing bright light within a 10-foot emanation of the target to dim light. This is a form of magical darkness and can overcome non-magical light sources or attempts to counteract magical light as described in the player core. Again, you can find it on Archives of Nethys for free. The target becomes concealed while in this dim light and can use a concealed condition to hide. This lasts until the end of your next turn. You're the operative's best friend when it comes to that. You have, again, your 3 different epiphanies. Your perfect harmony is you gain the umbral stride action. Whenever you transfer vitality, the healed creature can use this action once before their next turn. Now remember, they are concealed at this point as well. You're in dim light or darkness, hence why you can do this. And they can stride. So basically, you're able to control your body in such a way that you can move into shadows as though they were taking a normal step. You teleport up to 30 feet. Destination must be also in dim light or darkness and must be within your line of sight and line of effect. That's huge because you do not draw reactive strikes when you teleport. That is amazingly powerful, especially at low levels. So now we're going to get into a few of the different feats that I liked at certain levels, and we're going to go over those quick. First one I liked was the Xeno Druid Bond. Basically, this is where you end up pulling your druid out of. So when you have your primal spellcasting connection, you become a member of Primal Order, which is basically straight out of the player core rulebook. And you can choose the Animal Order, which allows you to gain animal lore and gain certain spells. The Elemental Order, the Viral Order, with the skill being Medicine, or the Plant Order being Plant Lore, and additional spells that you would learn as you go up. Second level, I liked the Reaction Bond Boost. You're going to find that I do like a lot of actions. The transfer cost is 4, so there is a Vitality Network transfer cost. You channel a surge of energy through your bond, shielding your ally's body and mind. Your ally gains a +2 status bonus to the triggering saving throw. If they roll a success at the saving throw against a Vitality or Void effect, they gain a critical success instead. Normally what happens when it comes to critical successes, you take absolutely no damage. So spot healing. Transfer cost is the amount you heal +2. Triggers an adjacent bonded ally takes damage. So as a reaction, you quickly expend energy from your Vitality Network toward a bonded ally. Your target gains a number of hit points you choose up to twice your level. So this level would be 4, which means it would cost you 6. Now remember, you start with 6 + 4, you start with 10 Vitality, and you regain 4 every turn. So it's not a bad little reaction to have. Again, healing is always good. Extra healing is always a good thing. And being able to do stuff like that, even if it's minor like that, especially at low levels, 4 hit points can be the difference between your ally staying up or your ally hitting dying. At 4th level, I loved Cloud Storage. I thought there was just transfer cost of 1. So again, it does cost out of your Vitality pool. You can use your Vitality Network as an extra dimensional storage space, sliding items into and out of thin air as if it were a null space chamber, basically portal hole. You can interact with an item that weighs 1 bulk or less to stow it into your cloud storage. A creature you're in your bond and on the same plane can pay the transfer cost to remove an item from your cloud storage as an interact action. Your cloud storage has a capacity of 12 bulk. When you become expert or higher in your connection skill, it becomes 25, 50 if you're a master, 75 at legendary, which is really impressive, but it's really fun. You can literally pop items around a battlefield for your friends, which is just really cool. I also thought at 4th level, Extend Vitality was really good. You can feel and reach out to your bonded allies regardless of range. You can transfer Vitality with any bonded ally as long as they're on the same planet as you. So very long range, but that's great that if you split the party, which whoever splits the party, come on, you end up being separated, you can still help your friends. Because remember, with your bond, you can tell if they're dying, unconscious, etc., etc. So that's a really good little feat. At 6th level, I liked Child of the Twilight Eclipse. You were born a beacon of light to guide your friends, or a host of darkness to give them refuge. Choose to be a child of darkness or a child of light. Make your choice. If you're a child of light, you give off bright light in a 10-foot radius, and you can suppress this ability as a free action, because it's kind of important if you're trying to sneak around. For child of darkness, you can perform simple interact actions within your reach of your shadow, such as opening an unlocked door, but your shadow can't hold items. You get to add a few extra spells to your list, but I like that one because it just gives more flavor to the character. Also at 6th level, New Epiphany is a really good one. Expert in a connection skill other than that of your chosen connection. So through dedication or happenstance, you've branched out to explore other connections to the fundamental building blocks of the cosmos. You learn the initial epiphany spell of the connection matching that prerequisite. So I like that. Again, just giving you more flavor and more expansive of your character. At 10th level, a feat I really liked was Data Bond, which is a connection with occult spellcasting. That's a prerequisite. Through your studies, you've come to understand computer code the same way most occult spellcasters understand magical script and runes. You can speak with computers. Any creature you summon is considered part of your bond and doesn't count against the maximum number of creatures in your bond. During your daily preparations, you learn one of the following spells and cast it as though it were a signature spell that day. Destruction Protocol, Instant Virus, Summon Construct, or Summon Robot. Again, I love that fact. It gives you some extra flavor for your character, and be able to speak to a computer is, I think, really fun. 12th level, I really like Convert Elemental Essence as a reaction. So you have an elemental connection, so you have to be a primal caster. So the trigger is an enemy targeted a bonded creature with a strike or spell with an attack roll that has the elemental trait, and the roll fails or critically fails, and you roll a critical success on a save against a foe's harmful elemental spell. Your Vitality Network absorbs the essence of the attack. Your Vitality Network regains 2 hit points per rank of the triggering spell, or 4 hit points per weapon die of the triggering strike. So that can be pretty decent. If someone's using a striking weapon, or they have abilities that increase the amount of dice they get, you can get a lot of healing back in that. At 14th level, I liked the Reaction Bond spell. So transfer cost is the rank of the triggering spell. Trigger is a bonded ally casts a spell, and you pulse energy through your bond as your ally casts a spell, empowering that spell with one of the following ways. So that their spell deals damage or heals hit points and doesn't have a duration. So basically, like, let's say a heal spell, you grant that spell a status bonus to damage or hit points equal to its rank. So if they're cranking out, a 6th level spell, they get an extra +6 damage, which can be a lot, or extra +6 healing. If the spell has a duration of 1 minute or longer and a single target, the spell instead lasts 5 minutes. If the spell has an area, burst, cone, or line, hence the fireball, that doesn't have a duration, add 5 feet to the radius of a burst that normally has a radius of at least 10 feet, fireball, or 5 feet to the length of a cone or line. If the spell attempts a counteract check, add +2 status bonus to the counteract check, which again is really good. You have status, circumstance, and item. Those bonuses would all stack. So if you had something else that gave you a status bonus, that would help as well. So I really like that one. Now, 20th level, the one I liked was Enlightenment, your legendary and your connection skill, which you get at 19th level. You understand the true nature of your connection and how it stretches across the vast pillars of reality. Your Vitality Network has a maximum capacity of 200 hit points and regains 20 hit points at the start of each turn instead of 8. You can bond with any number of willing bonded creatures. So again, that is just an absolutely massive, massive amount of healing. But at 20th level, rarely you're going to probably get up there. But when you do, that's when I would definitely take a look at. And that is the end of the Mystic. So when it comes to Ancestries for the Mystic, I would suggest the Barathu because they have a con and wisdom bonus. The Akashic, which they have a strength and wisdom boost. They do have a charisma floss. It depends if you want to do it that way. And the Shireen also have a con and wisdom bonus. So those would be ones I would probably look at leaning towards depending on what you want to use. All right, one thing as we wrap up that you do need to be aware of, stated in my previous video with the Envoy as well, and I'm going to continue to do it for all these ones, is that the archetype rules are not in this playtest packet. So for those who are not aware, an archetype is basically how Pathfinder and Starfinder multi-class. So you're going to be basically, for this playtest, at least for this part of it, playing a straight class. There will be no multi-classing into it. If you're a GM, I would suggest not allowing anyone to pick an archetype of anything from Pathfinder and bring it in. Just leave this as a straight playtest of the new Starfinder rules and go with that. So that's a wrap on the playtest class of the Mystic. Again, thank you for hanging out with me today in this decently lengthy video, and let me know what you think about the Mystic. What do you like about it? What do you think needs to be changed? Is it a class you'd be interested in playing, and which part of it would you like to play? I'd like to hear your insights and your comments. But that is it for me today, and I'll see you all in the next video, where I will be discussing the Operative, which happens to be actually one of my favorite classes. And if you're enjoying this content and want to see more, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, even click the bell for notifications on new videos. Leave a comment below, or you know what, just leave your favorite emoji in there to help with the old YouTube algorithm. And I want to thank you very much for all your support so far. My channel's growing very well, and I'm extremely happy that so many people are finding my content interesting. If you're interested in helping out the channel a little bit more, I do have a Patreon and a YouTube membership. They both give exclusive channels in my Discord, plus other perks. But that's it for me. And in the meantime, in between time, may all your games be full of myth, mirth, and magic. Bye for now.